Podcast Studios. This is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Hey now!
Hello, friends.
How are you, Kat?
Oh, I'm pretty darn good. How are you?
Well, yesterday was a little messed up. And welcome, everyone, to After 9. Coming up, we've got a lot to do in this episode, and we will cover as much of it as we can. I want to start off, though, with yesterday's rain. It wasn't just yesterday's rain, though. I mean, I think what a lot of people are forgetting is, well, yesterday's storm did dump a lot of rain. 50 millimeters per hour.
More than anyone really predicted, by the way. We knew that there's going to be rain yesterday, but I didn't hear anyone talk about that much rain. And I feel like there were other times where we were supposed to have significant rainfall. It did not feel as much. But is that because of the buildup previous to this rainfall?
Well, the reason that it flooded yesterday is not just because of the rain we got yesterday, but because the ground was so saturated because we've just gone through 9 straight days of rain. So everything is wet. We know that. The ground couldn't absorb it. And we got a lot more than we were expecting. But that's an interesting thing that you just pointed out. The forecasts have been way off lately. These storms are just coming out of nowhere. I almost half wonder. Remember during the when China was hosting the Olympics and they bragged that they were going to manipulate the weather so that it couldn't rain during the opening ceremony?
I think there's something to that.
Well, now that we know governments can manipulate the weather, I almost kind of feel like this is one of those things. Or it could be. I don't know if it is. It probably is a theory that's floating around out there, although I haven't seen it yet. But these storms are not like anything we've seen before. They're coming in one after another in waves like we've never experienced. 9 straight days of rain in July is crazy.
It is. And for those who are listening outside of this area, even like southwestern Ontario, I guess I'd say, you can go ahead and look up the floods in Toronto yesterday. I feel for those people. I always wonder, and I never want to know. Do you ever wonder things but never want to be in that position to know? I wonder what happens when you're behind the wheel of a car. You're on one of those highways. You see the levels rising a little bit and you're like, oh, kind of splashy, but I'm going to keep driving. And then it gets a little higher and you're like, no, I'm going to keep driving. And then it gets to the point where you're like, I need to exit the vehicle because I can't drive anymore because it's a fucking boat basically and all the water's seeping up. I just wouldn't take the chance. You know you want to get home. I fucking get that. Like you just want to get the fuck home, okay? I get it. But when you're on like the DVP or the 4, wherever all of the flooded roads, there's a ton of them. When you're on those roads, and you know, I think you do know, right? When you're on those roads every single day, that does tend to happen to them. You don't think like, you know what, fuck it. Today's the day I'm going to leave my car at work and I'm going to find another means of transportation just in case. It's amazing how many people like have to ditch their cars when you have to and just leave them there. And they just get, I'm assuming like it's not good for the car.
It's not good for
in
the car.
any way,
no.
Interior or exterior.
It's remarkable, though, how many people had to abandon their car yesterday because they got into a situation where the water was a lot deeper than people thought it was going to be.
I think that's what it is, right? It's just one of those things where you think it's more shallow and you're like, I can drive through this until you get to that point and you're like, it's up to my hood. I certainly can't drive through this. What I made a mistake?
Before I do something that I don't think I've ever done on After 9, I'm going to do something in a sec. What happens to like a Tesla or something like that when you're flooded?
Great question.
I mean, that's got a massive powered battery in it. Is there any danger in being in an electric vehicle when you're flooded up to the mirrors?
I don't make Teslas. I know, fun fact. But I would assume it's encased in something to prevent that from happening should there be a flood.
If it's not, it
Guys,
should be.
Are we wrong? Help us out.
Well, you know, Toronto is once again the butt of jokes because the city flooded again and the mayor got cornered yesterday. So I'm going to do something that I don't often do here. I'm going to defend Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow. First off, listen to a little bit of her talking yesterday to reporters.
When it comes to the DVP, it is flooded before. It is there's issues with flooding today. Why was it not shut down early enough?
I cannot answer that question. I was assured that the emergency service and the management team have been activated early today, this morning, and we know the rain, we can tell it's coming. Maybe the severity of it caught people by surprise, I don't know, but it certainly caught other people by surprise. I had staff that had to go home because the houses are flooding. the ceiling are leaking. So I don't know why DVP wasn't closed. There are some sections that are flooding, and they have closed different lanes when it's necessary, and we'll continue to monitor that.
But is that going to be something in the coming days? You're going to want more answers on the procedure around it, whether it should be closed earlier to prevent people from having to.
You know, these reporters are just such shit disturbers.
Is that something you should probably have a meeting about?
No.
Right? Like, that's basically what that was about.
Let me answer the question the way Olivia, no one would have blamed her if she answered the question this way. Listen here, dipshit. I am the mayor. I don't make those operational decisions on whether or not we proactively close one of the two massive arteries into Toronto during rush hour. She doesn't make that decision based on rain. That decision is made by civil servants. It's made by experts. It's made by a whole bunch of different people, not the least of which is fire, emergency services, police, who have got to go and fish people out of there when they inevitably get stuck. Let's also keep in mind, we said it right off the bat. We didn't really think it was going to be as bad as it was yesterday's rain.
That's right.
Should they have proactively closed the DVP? Get out of
Yeah,
here.
like, and shit happens. Like, that definitely falls into the shit happens kind of category. That wasn't something that we expected to happen. And I certainly don't think the mayor should, because could you imagine, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If she had done that on any other day that we expected a lot of rain, are you kidding me? People would be freaking out. Like, why'd you fucking close a highway you didn't need to on days where you don't need to, right?
I also want to point out that people are making fun of Toronto. Oh, Union Station flooded again. We have crumbling infrastructure. Union Station is Union Station. It's the biggest transit hub for rail in the country. However, let's keep in mind, it's underground. It's fucking underground. Subways go in there. Yes, anything below ground is going to flood when we get that much rain. Let's also keep in mind that when it comes to this rain, it's not an infrastructure issue necessarily per se, because we had a perfect storm. We went through 8 straight days of rain. Well over 100 millimeters, and then got another 100 millimeters in a few hours yesterday. Anything that didn't flood is great. Anything that did flood, we perfectly understand. Yeah, it flooded. We don't need to change the entire infrastructure of the biggest city in the country simply because it flooded when it rained. A lot. When else do we get 200 millimeters of rain in 7 days? It doesn't happen that often. Will it happen more often? Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of people who are jumping right to climate change. And if you believe that, then you should pay more taxes because you haven't changed the weather yet, everyone.
One of the greatest accounts is like a parody account for Justin Trudeau. Yesterday, they posted about the flood tax. It's okay, everybody. We're going to start the flood tax. We can manipulate that and make sure that water won't go downstream. We'll make sure that water will not fall that way.
We can defy physics in government if you just pay more taxes.
Just pay the tax.
Yeah, obviously I'm no fan of the carbon tax, but I also know that the vast majority of the country happens to agree with me on that. So something's going on. Something has changed. This particular summer is a different one, but we don't know what this summer's going to look like when it's over. We'll only know with retrospect. If we go through some prolonged drought,
and we might,
and it's highly likely we will. We usually do go through a real dry couple of weeks in the summertime. When it's all done and we add it all up, then we can say, okay, this summer was an unusually wet summer. Let's see if this continues again next summer and then the summer after that, and we go from there. Blaming the mayor because Union Station flooded or because the DVP, which, by the way, just so everyone knows, stands for Don Valley Parkway.
And always has.
And these dipshit...
That didn't change.
And these how do these people get on television asking stupid questions like that? It's crazy. The mayor doesn't deserve the criticism here. If Toronto flooded during a massive once in 15-year flood, you get a pass, Toronto. And same with everywhere else. There was people that did the right thing yesterday. They tied up their boat. Great. Well, lo and behold, I'm watching video of Bronte Harbor yesterday, right at the foot of 16 Mile Creek. And while people did do the right thing and tie up their boats, the dock floated away. I don't know who was in charge of tying up the dock, but here we go. Shit happens in this scenario.
People were finding faults in all kinds of things yesterday, and finding it the hard way. I mean, it's never fun. I mean, even in our own building, which is a very modern, like relatively new building, we had a couple ceiling tiles just fucking collapse because there was a leak. 2 of them. And probably more that are going to fall. Shit happens. Drake's mansion was flooded, and we all know he spent a lot of money on that thing.
And this is the thing, right? Like, City Hall's flooding. We need to build a new City Hall. Yeah, build it at the Science Center. Do that. That's what you can do with that old fucking building. Listen, when it comes to City Hall in Toronto having a leak or multiple leaks, yeah, Drake's mansion had a leak, and he lives in the Bridle Path. Paid millions for that house. Our building here had a leak. Many, many, many did. That almost makes you kind of wonder, like, this is still a fairly new, modern building. I think our roof is probably still even under warranty here. It leaked. What do you do? Was it just that much rain, or do we have some massive problem that we got to throw billions of dollars at to fix?
Yeah.
I don't think this is what should catapult we need to talk about infrastructure spending.
Yeah, that's silly. And then, because you're going to be the first to bitch and moan and complain and write stories about it when prices go up for shit because we're trying to protect that. Maybe once a year, not even, right? Situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even once a year. I mean, I remember the last time it flooded. Remember the GO train thing? That was like 10 years ago. Remember the GO train was stuck at one point?
2013.
See, there you go. It was more than a decade ago. So, shit happens for sure.
This is the thing. Everybody calm down. The premier himself, his basement got flooded in Etobicoke.
Yeah. Okay, folks. I had to move my PlayStation.
I'm going to be running the province from Tim Hortons in Mississauga because Etobicoke's flooded and my office is underwater right now. It is what it is. It flooded. Yeah, it sucks. I wonder how much shit the insurance companies are dealing with today.
If you work for one, you're probably like, fuck.
This is going to be a long day, right?
A long day. And people tend to get really angry and take it out on you. That's why it would not be fun to be on the other end of those phone calls.
Yesterday on the radio show, we had an interesting segment that said, if you need to call a 1-800 number, there's a couple surefire ways to get a live person on the phone faster. Now, they suggested that from their research, if you just yell F-bombs while you're on hold a few times, the system, the AI in it, is going to realize, okay, there's a person and they are agitated. They're more likely to get you to a customer service representative faster if they think you're angry and may be canceling your service. Whether that works or not, I don't know. Your hack is even better, though.
Well, and some people text in to debunk that and say sometimes theirs can absolutely pick up when they're swearing, and they actually avoid doing that because you're clearly heated and they don't want their customer service representatives talking to you. So here's the way to do it. In Canada, we have options, right? The option is press 1 for English or 2 for French or whatever the hell the person says. I voice a lot of those, by the way. In the States, more so I do less French ones. Press the French one. If the wait is crazy, I mean, wait for it, hit English first, and maybe the wait's only like 4 or 5 minutes. But if they're like, your wait is 1 hour, 27 minutes, like, fuck that. Hang up, call back, hit French. Because you know what happens in Canada? Do they speak French? Yep. Do they likely also speak English?
Most likely.
And then they can sometimes help you. So I'm not saying it's a surefire way, but we actually had people who are bilingual that work for these customer service. They're less busy because less people are pushing to. So they're more likely to help you because if no one else is waiting that speaks French, they're happy to help and they can do the exact same things.
Kat, today is day 2 of Amazon Prime Days. Did you get lots of shopping in yesterday?
I got a lot. Actually, fucking asshole left it out in the rain last night. So the shipment came at like between 5 and 10 p.m. So I was waiting for it, didn't come, fell asleep.
Same day.
Same day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Except he left the box in the rain. He could have pushed it toward the door where there is perfectly fine shelter, but left it on the edge.
Great.
Bastard. So I actually have to return an item because it got too soaked. But I'll be able to get my money back.
Yesterday, on day 1 of Amazon Prime Day, U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders, I love Bernie, he released a new Senate report that says Amazon Prime Day is a major cause of injury for warehouse workers. Sanders says using Amazon's own numbers, which they have from 2019 and 2020, those are the most recent ones, the highest weekly injury rate for warehouse workers who pick and pack customer orders happen during peak shopping times like Prime Day. The Senate report also says 45 out of 100 Amazon warehouses in America saw workers injured during the last Prime Day event. Okay, I mean, I don't want to hear that and think, well, fuck, we got to cancel Prime Day. I don't think that that's
No.
what's going on here.
No.
But we also don't want people getting hurt at work ever under any circumstance. So does that kind of shine a spotlight on Amazon and the work conditions in the warehouse? Should they bring in more people or put some more protocol in place for busy peak periods like Prime Day?
I'm sure that they do have a lot of things in place. Like that's the thing is that this is like a one-off. Well, I shouldn't say this is a one-off. We know we have Black Friday, and we know we have other very busy shopping days and online ordering days and Boxing Day, etc. Right? That's going to happen. There's injuries all over the place, though. I mean, I don't know why they had to pinpoint Amazon. If there's an issue, of course, but they go by ratio, right? So let's really figure out how many people are working there. Those warehouses too, some of them are massive.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of employees to begin with. So the chance of injury, like maybe you'll have one injury a day over here at this factory that employs 500 people. Over here, when they're employing like 2,000 people in one place, people are going to get, of course, shit happens. If it's a dangerous work environment, then you have to talk. What are the reasonings for being injured? Did shit fall on them? Was stuff not stable? Were forklift drivers operating like all over the place, not fucking paying attention? I don't think so. There's a lot of safety things that are being put in place in those factories anyway, to begin with. Technology's helping a lot. AI, robots picking things for them so they don't have to anymore. So I don't think it's something we need to worry about.
Well, I did decide to dive a little deeper into that. So I phoned a friend of mine who works at well.ca, for those who don't know. And I said, hey, when...
Well.ca is great, by the way.
Are they?
Yeah.
I've never ordered from them.
Oh, I've ordered from them before. They've got good stuff. Like when they have good sales anyway, it's great. Anyway, continue.
So I asked her, I was like, hey, when Prime Days are on, do you guys get less busy? And her exact response to me was, we had our anniversary sale last week and it was crazy. At one point, 20,000 orders were in the pipeline. So apparently it doesn't matter if it's Prime Day or not. People will still shop wherever it is they want to shop online.
Well, and people are strategic. I mean, and good for them. And I hope a lot of local businesses kind of followed suit. They don't have the same advertising power, and I get that. That's the shame of it, right? Like anywhere you were online this week, did the Amazon fucking Prime Day shit pop up for you? Like they have the money to advertise. So that sucks for the smaller businesses, if you will. But for me, I shopped around first. I'll shop around first because if you're having a sale because it's Prime Day and you're doing your own 2-day sale and you're a local business, I will absolutely give into those sales before I hit Amazon. So I hope that a lot of places kind of tried to take advantage of it.
Sad that we got to say this, but with it being Prime Day, if you ordered something, do whatever you can to prevent the porch pirates. They're out in full force right now because they know that it's Prime Day as well. And a lot of people have got packages on their porch.
And like I said, there's a lot of late night drop-offs too. And sometimes, late at night, you're not paying attention or you're sleeping. So it's quite possible that they're going to be out and about more so than usual.
Do you ever window shop, like fantasy shop on like Auto Trader or the Realtor.ca app or something
I hit
like
realtors
that?
sometimes, more so because I'm just curious what's happening in the market, what every home kind of looks like, what my house might go for based on what other houses are going for. Even though I'm not moving, but I do out of curiosity, yeah.
Yeah, I sometimes it's nice to browse, and sometimes I'll set it. Show me homes that are listed between $4 million and $12 million.
Let's just see what's around.
It's amazing. There's homes out there in that price range. Well, the Canadian government just dropped $9 million on a New York City luxury condo. It's located on what's called Billionaires Row. Beautiful building, by the way. It's got a great view of Central Park. You can see the Hudson. You can see the Statue of Liberty. It's amazing. Somebody noticed this when they discovered the deed to this Manhattan condo shows that it was sold last month to His Majesty the King in Right of Canada. It was listed for $6.6 million US. $6.5 million for a condo. Now we own it. Global Affairs Canada says this stunning piece of real estate is to be used as the Consul General's official residence. They say the previous New York residence isn't up to code.
Is that one job, by the way?
It's the Consul General? Yeah.
Who is that?
That is, as far as I know, it's Tom Clark.
So this guy's from Canada.
Yeah, but he lives in
He's
New York
going to
City.
live in Manhattan in this gorgeous condo paid for by us.
Yes.
What the fuck?
I don't even know why we have a Consul General in New York.
You don't need to be... For that fucking price,
Washington
let
only.
me hop on Expedia for you and find you a couple flights a year that you're going to actually need to be in the States. Like, give me a break. You can do most of that job remote. I don't even know the job, and I could probably tell you could do most of it remote. And sure, you need to be there a couple of times.
There are so many positions in the government that you can get appointed
crazy.
to. You don't need to get elected. You just need to be appointed to it, which means if you donate the right amount of money or you know the right person, you can get these gigs. If you get a job
Nuts.
as like the ambassador to Ireland, you're going to live expense-free in Ireland. You've got diplomatic immunity, so you can kill somebody if you want. No one's going to say shit. Well, they will, but you can get away with it. You get a driver.
How dare ya?
You get
Hey-lee-lee-doo.
you get a staff. You get a budget for clothing. Your meals
Oh,
are
it's
paid
fucked.
for. It is set.
Wow.
And when we have an election, I have a feeling that's part of the reason the diplomats don't stay out of it, even though they're supposed to, is because
Yeah.
they want to keep these jobs,
Of
right?
course.
So our consul general in New York is going to be living in a gorgeous place. $6.5 million is a lot of money for a condo. And I don't even necessarily hate that part. If we paid the going rate and there were really no other suitable options for the prestigious consul general of Canada in New York, then I guess. What I do have a problem with here is this seems to be a trend. The current building wasn't up to code. Do you remember in 2015 when Justin Trudeau was first elected and he said, I refuse to move into 24 Sussex. I refuse to because it's falling apart and it's in terrible shape. And everybody was like, how bad could it be? The Harpers just lived there for 10 years. It's fine. And they said, nope. Parks Canada wasn't taking care of it. They weren't taking their care of it and doing their job and blah, blah, blah. Same thing with the cottage on Harrington Lake. The cottage for the Prime Minister, his official retreat, not up to par. They had to build a brand new cottage right next to it. I'll even use the example of the Ontario Science Centre. Oh, it's falling apart. It's old, blah, blah, blah. We got to move into a new building. Do we really believe that? Like, I didn't think that 24 Sussex could possibly be that bad. Now, since nobody's been living in it for 10 years, even though someone was supposed to be in it every day maintaining it, apparently it's fallen into disrepair and they're going to have to tear it down. Same with that cottage on Harrington Lake.
That's a shame.
This place in New York that apparently isn't up to code, so they had to buy the consul general a luxury condo on Billionaires Row. You know, I'm wondering who's making these decisions, because I'm cheap. I am so cheap. I would be the guy who would say, okay, well, what's really wrong
It's just
with
a fixer-upper.
Just a fixer-upper,
Lots
yeah.
of people live in a fixer-upper.
I just feel like we're playing games with real estate, and I don't quite know who's winning and who's benefiting here, but I just don't really believe that it's all on the up and up. Hopefully, they get at least $6.5 million for the old residents. Hopefully, they sell it and try and recoup some money. If not, we're the taxpayers. I think that we should all get a week. We'll create like a Google Doc, and the whole country can sign up for their week in our luxury condo in New York.
Only 52 people get it, but
And it may take until
lottery.
2050 for you to get your
I'm
turn.
good with that.
I would be too. Let us get a little piece of the pie here, us simple common folk. Today the LCBO union and the LCBO are going to sit down and start negotiating again.
Good. You know what? And this could be really good. It could end today. It could end today.
It very well could.
Yeah, because I think that they know now. Did they finally listen to the podcast where we told those who are arguing against it that their convenience stores will have stock of premixes and beers and wines? Like it's through their brain now, right?
I think if
It's happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is it tomorrow or today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow it becomes
Okay.
available in grocery stores, and then next month in convenience stores. We've said it a few times. I don't need to replay it. You can go back and listen to older pods if you want. I think the union misled the union members about hope and what they could actually get accomplished in this strike, because if their main goal is truly to stop these premixed alcoholic beverages from being sold in grocery stores, the ship has sailed. Nothing is going to change. But what I do think might happen here, and I don't even think they're going to fight that hard to negotiate it, is I could see the LCBO retaining exclusivity for spirits. In
Yeah.
other words, you can get beer at the beer store, grocery store, convenience store. You can get coolers and premixed cocktails at convenience stores, beer stores, and grocery stores. But if you want the liquor,
The hard stuff's here, bitch.
if you want a bottle of tequila or a
Yeah.
bottle of Patron or whatever,
Yeah.
well, those are the same things. If you want a bottle of tequila or a bottle of whiskey, for example, you got to go to the LCBO.
Yeah.
So what that would do is it would ensure that the government's monopoly on liquor sales continues for God knows how long. Maybe the union thinks that's some sort of a win. I still would like to see this go into private enterprises.
I mean, you know what? Great. I think that sounds fair. All of that sounds fair. So sure, if they want to have that exclusivity, let's say they write it and it's 10 years. I don't know how long they would go, but let's just say they give 10 years at least exclusivity. You're safe. You're going to be the Spirits. So you're going to be busy. Restaurants have to order through you. They have no choice in the province of Ontario. So you're going to be busy from restaurants and all the businesses. Fine, good, whatever. And personal, obviously. What about selling other things? Do they even give a shit about that?
I don't think they do.
Why?
I think
why though? I think they should.
They're so short-sighted.
I think they should. I think they should consider selling other product if they know now that people can get beer and people can get premixes and people can get wine at a bunch of other locations. All the way. By the way, in a lot of cases, in the same fucking plaza they're in, you can get all that other shit minus the spirits, and some people don't even care for the spirits. Sell other shit. Make it a little interesting. Let me go in there and let me, pair this whatever gin martini that I'm going to be making with whatever fucking thing you could possibly sell. I don't see why we can't do that.
Imagine this. And by the way, you don't even have to imagine. Go to America, go to Alberta, go to Quebec, go everywhere else where you can go into one store. And not only can you get the gin and the vermouth for your martini, you can get the olives. You can get the lime to rim the glass.
Fucking right.
All these things it's common sense. They pair together. They sell it together in all these other places. But the LCBO is run by people who don't know how to run a business. It's the government. They're not meant to be in business.
Honestly, amazing thing for them to do. And I know that wine can be anywhere, but vintages section at LCBO. For me, that's my go-to. Okay. I will do vintages section just typically because they have more product available and I can order it in. Great. Cheeses. That's another one, right? Like, pair this with this, and here it is on the fucking shelf. Olives with the martini is a great one. And support local businesses that way. You can definitely have local Ontario cheeses, whatever, Ontario olives. I don't fucking know. Any number of Ontario products.
I don't want to eat an Ontario olive.
I was going to say, I don't know how many Ontario olives
I'll eat the peaches, the apples, the corn, everything, but an Ontario-grown olive would not be good.
But there's distributors.
Sure.
There's distributors, bottlers, manufacturers, people who help, of course, and do things on this side of the world. But that's the product, but this is where we help to distribute it. Great, because you're still going to support those jobs that are local.
We're in a grocery crisis right now in this country. Inflation came out again yesterday, and grocery prices went up another 2.1%.
Oh, they're dog shit.
Since 2019, grocery prices are up 23%.
Yeah.
23%. If your paycheck didn't go up 23% in the last few years, we all know that we're falling behind. So, hey, listen, if we've got a grocery crisis, and you've got the government saying, we need more competition in the grocery area. And now you've got this giant liquor monopoly that the province runs in a bunch of standalone stores that are fully staffed and well refrigerated. And they don't need as much shelf space for the liquor now because we've farmed some of that out to some other individuals and businesses. Why don't we add some basic produce in there? Why don't we add some frozen meals in there? Why don't we give another grocery option in there? That's just one of the things we could be doing with these great stores that are huge, well-staffed, refrigerated, and more.
Those decision makers, you know what I'd be okay with? We just talked about wasting taxpayer dollars on all these properties and all the fucking renovations and all the things. I'd be okay. Get them on a little plane there. Get them on a fucking plane and give them some inspiration. Get them to head to, I don't care. It could be in Canada, sure. You can go to Alberta. You can go to any number of any provinces. You can go to Florida. Check out their fucking food and what's that place called? I don't know. They have it in the state of Florida for sure. I know that because I frequent it when I go there because it's so fucking fun. It's like a warehouse.
Yeah.
But it's liquor and grocery all in one, and they show you in the same aisle. You compare shit right there. Like, here, this fucking burrata. It tastes really good with this fucking wine or this. Great. Bring it on. More of that shit. They need some inspiration, maybe.
Costco in America sells liquor and groceries.
That's another one is Costco. Yeah. It's a little more, not as fun at Costco. No offense to Costco, but.
One of my favorite liquor stores, it's in Indiana. It's down the street from my son's house. It's called Mega Liquors. And
that's fun.
It's like a warehouse. They've got so much stuff that we don't even have in Canada, and it looks delicious. I've tried some of it, and it was. And they sell grocery items, they sell lottery tickets, they sell cigarettes, they sell all sorts of shit. It's an extremely convenient store for all of your needs and vices, all in one place.
There's a million of them. I wish I could figure out the one. I know there's ABC. They have the ABC, but they don't have the grocery in the ABCs, do they? Like those are in Vegas. Those are all over Vegas.
By the way, Quebec liquor stores along the border between Ontario and Quebec say they're seeing a surge in sales.
I bet.
A spokeswoman for Quebec's Liquor Crown Corporation says last week the shelves have been emptying quickly at several outlets near Ontario as the 10,000 LCBO workers continue their strike, which began back on July the 5th. Let's go to a popular topic from yesterday's pod when we talked briefly. Now, we talked in depth, actually, so we don't need to go too far on this, but we did talk about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Now, the head of the Secret Service has sat down for an interview. This is 40 seconds long, her talking about the circumstances surrounding that assassination
attempt. What was your reaction when you saw the events unfold on Saturday?
Shock, and then concern, obviously. For the former president. This is an event that should have never happened.
Who is most responsible for this happening?
What I would say is that the Secret Service is responsible for the protection of the former president.
So the buck stops with you?
The buck stops with me. I am the director of the Secret Service. It was unacceptable, and it's something that shouldn't happen again.
The president and Homeland Security Secretary said today they had 100% confidence in you. But there are some members of Congress calling on you to resign.
I appreciate the Secretary's comments, and we're going to continue to be transparent and communicate with people.
You plan to stay on, absolutely.
I do plan to stay on.
I know some people are taking objection with that. The buck stops with you, then the buck should stop with you. If you say you are responsible, you should step down. And many people are saying now she should be fired because she didn't step down. But again, it's not really the compromise here. Sure, she's in charge. If she gave some order that prevented Trump from getting the security he needed, well, that's a different story. She wasn't there. She wasn't on the job at the time. She was off. She didn't draw up any plans for this. This was all done by Secret Service staff. They were supposed to do their job. She's just the figurehead. Mm-hmm. Do you fire the figurehead because the staff did something wrong? I don't necessarily think that you do. I think that she deserves, or she should be a hell of a lot more humble about this. And I think that there is a lot more answers owed. But I'm not really one of those people calling for her resignation right now. Although I did see some pretty convincing video yesterday. It's not proven by any means, but when you watch some of the videos that I saw yesterday, kind of gives off the vibe that there might have been more than one shooter.
Okay, like you could go down the fucking rabbit hole though. There's a million videos out there that are conspiracy theories galore, and there always will be when something like this happens. My question though, when it comes to this particular woman and her employment there is, does Donald Trump have the control over whether she stays or goes in any way?
Not yet.
So not yet. Does the president of the United States, that being Joe Biden, have full control of that currently?
Absolutely. However, yesterday, even though he said he had just spoken to her, he didn't know she was a woman. That's a Biden
Well, that's
issue.
also I don't think he knows what way is up and down anymore. I'm not even. Some days he seems okay, by the way, but that's early stages of things for you. I'm not gonna say it, but you fucking all know it, and it's true, and I've seen it. Anyway, okay, well, we'll see what ends up happening there.
I don't think she's going to resign. Right now, the Republican National Convention is happening. A 4-night event seems like a real
too much.
long time.
Give me the summary after the 4 days are up, please.
Trump is going to speak not until tomorrow night. Night 4 is when the actual nominee comes out. Last night, it was a bunch of people that ran against Trump to get the nomination. One of those, and I think he is still a favorite amongst Trump supporters, was the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis.
America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
I mean, it's not funny.
By the way, what are we going to do with Jack Black and Tenacious D
Holy
here?
shit, guys. Okay, Tenacious D's done. Tenacious D's done. Period.
They should have been done a long time ago.
Well, I mean, there's people who enjoy it. That's it. Like, are you just saying that based on your own personal thoughts on the songs and the music?
No, I just know that Jack Black he's real. What his guitarist said, and I'll save it for you to say it, but what his guitarist said on stage, in my estimation, aligns perfectly with Jack Black's own views. You see him just last week, he was with Obama and Biden at the same time. I tend to think he doesn't like Donald Trump. But now it's almost like he's trying to pull up the reins and say, whoa, 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 I'm not that guy.
Yes, but there is a massive difference. You can not like someone politically and also not want them to be shot in the head. Absolutely. So I disagree with that. I'm sure that although he doesn't agree with his policies, maybe, potentially, I don't know if he said that out loud or not. I really don't know specifically about Jack Black and his politics. I don't fucking care what celebrities think about politics, is the truth.
Good.
I want them to keep it out of it completely. But fine, you hobnob with fucking Barack Obama. Most celebrities did when he was president and even now. You hobnob with fucking Joe Biden over here. Great. But you never, ever, we all know violence is never the answer. You never say something as fucking dumb as his Tenacious D ex-band member now said, which was, next time, don't miss. And he said, by the way, it was like the worst timing too. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but it was his birthday. It was his fucking birthday, and they came out and sang happy birthday, and they had a candle. They had a cake with candles on it, and he was about to blow out the candle, and that was his wish. Next time, don't miss Trump. And the whole audience was like, ooh. They might hate Trump too, but ooh, buddy, don't fucking say that. And sure enough, instantly, Jack Black was like, creatively, we're going our separate ways. I think even in friendship, they'll go there. He's going to separate from him so hard. Jack Black does not want that. His agents dropped him. He's done. They're done. They're toast. It's not happening again. Jack Black will probably maybe do his own thing, but Tenacious D's done.
Let's talk about another band or singer that's in the news.
Oh, no.
Her name is Ingrid, and she performed the Star Mangled Banner the other night at the Baseball All-Star Game. I'll play just a little bit of it here.
And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air.
Oh, so bad. So bad. And you just thought, wow, she's not a good singer live, or she was nervous. I saw so many people coming to her defense when people were like, wow, what the fuck? And people were coming to her defense in ways like, you'd be nervous too. Cut her some slack. She was fucking hammered. And you knew you had this stage. You knew people were going to be watching you. And you were that fucking loaded that you sounded that on. I don't know how she sounds sober, to be honest with you. She could be a fucking awful singer to begin with. I don't know. But to me, the amount of people that had her back, it was like, oh, you'd never know. Maybe she needed that though. She's in rehab. For those who don't know, she admitted she's going to check herself into rehab and update her fans along the way. And maybe this is her way to try to get more traction as a singer.
Well, nobody knew her before this.
Yeah, and that's another thing that people are saying. Nobody knew her name, and now they do. Yes, but if this was calculated, all I'm saying is you went about it in the wrong fucking way. Because there's people who seriously have alcoholism issues that need rehab. And hey, maybe she encouraged some people to go. I don't think so, but maybe she did. I don't know. If she really does need help, and it seems like it, maybe in more ways than one, then I hope the rehab helps her out.
I was under the impression, especially in baseball, for whatever reason, they are one of those sports, probably just the echo in the stadiums. They were one of the ones that required you to pre-record the anthem before you came out and sing it. I know a lot of people who have been asked to do the anthem at Rogers Center for a Jays game, and doing it live is almost not an option for the vast majority of them. Unless you're Celine Dion herself, they're going to make you pre-record it, and then you just lip sync it when you get out to the mound.
I don't know if in terms of this particular stadium, if that was the case. Obviously not. She sang it live. So I don't know if maybe she fucking missed that rehearsal where she was supposed to pre-record it.
Which did
she was too drunk.
Did she sit down to get drunk because she was nervous, or was she just having a good time and just happened to have a few too many? That's what I'm not clear on.
Well, she admits she's an alcoholic, so she didn't just sit down to try to take the edge off. She probably does that on a daily and realize, wow, this is a fucking wake-up call. I need to do something or my career's shot.
Got it. It might be anyway.
It's her last. It might be anyway, but it's her chance. It's her last ditch effort, perhaps, to try to make something of herself after it.
Last thing, and we've only got 2 minutes. It's National Hot Dog Day.
Hot dog!
Every year, we end up talking about hot dogs on Hot Dog Day because people keep coming up with weird ways to dress them up. And hot dogs are very different from pizza. Pizza is a very personal thing. People like it the way they like it. Hot dogs were a little more loosey-goosey on that, though. It's maybe I don't normally have mustard, but I'll have mustard today, or whatever the street meat guy has got in his cart there. Well, I decided to Google some of the less mainstream hot dog toppings that people swear are good.
Okay, let's hear some of these.
Doritos,
Doritos. But people like chip. That makes sense. People like chips on their burgers and hot dogs.
But do you take the full triangle and drop it in, or do you crumble them up?
Probably
or-
crumble it up. It's going to crumble anyway.
Barbecue sauce, pulled pork, bacon are on here. Ooh, this one's an interesting one. Cover the bun in jalapeno cream cheese and then put the hot dog in the bun. Jalapeno cream cheese on your hot dog, people swear it's incredible. I can tell you, I don't know. I can't even picture it.
We had people saying sour cream, though, by text.
Oh, that's
so
true.
if people would do sour cream, I could see them doing cream cheese.
I never considered this. I'm warming up to fried eggs on a burger. I've never had a fried egg on a hot dog, but people say it's good.
Okay.
Arugula, guac, garlic aioli. Yeah, that would
All
probably
right.
be good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Pesto on a hot dog.
Really? Okay.
Blue cheese,
Blue cheese. All right. Mm-hmm.
marinara sauce.
I don't like blue cheese at all, by the way. But the people who like it, I can see that.
I love it.
Do you like blue cheese? Oh, marinara. Okay.
Basil, pepperoni, cheese. Oh, wait, we're making a pizza now. Okay. With a hot dog. We're making a pizza with a hot dog on it. Great.
That's exactly what's happening. That's some strange. Okay, so what was the most intriguing thing you've never tried in a hot dog that you saw today? Because we got a ton of texts as well.
The jalapeno cream cheese I thought was interesting. I would probably
Yeah.
try that. In case you're wondering, mustard is by far and away the top preferred condiment for people.
Interesting.
Ketchup is number 2, then onions, relish, and chili.
Chili dog. People love a chili dog.
Sure they do. By the way, go to Harvey's today. They've got a good deal in the app on hot dogs.
Oh, yeah. Harvey's dogs. They're one of the few who actually do hot dogs in a drive-thru. You don't get that very often.
Not many do. As far as sauces are concerned, barbecue sauce, ranch dressing.
Uh-huh.
People put ranch on everything now.
It used to just be a salad dressing. Now it's literally everything but.
Then people don't put it on their salad.
People are like, nah, I don't want that for that, but I'll dip my chicken fingers in it.
Sriracha and savory jam also made the list.
Oh.
I could see not necessarily like a Smucker's strawberry jam or something like that, but something a little
Ew.
sweeter and savory at the same time, mixed in with that
I
hot
was
dog. It
thinking-
might be a good combo.
Yeah, people do like that mix. I feel like, honestly, hot dogs are one of those things that, like, because they're hot dogs, you're not eating a fucking steak. So people are like, yeah, whatever. Who fucking cares? It's not really a waste.
One of our texters called it something today. What the hell did he call it?
Oh, shit. A pork missile. A pork missile?
A pork missile. Ah, I love that.
That's good.
Gotta go, everybody. Have a fantastic hump day. We will see you tomorrow for more After 9.
Bye, friends.
There's a hot new trend in air travel among young men where, for some reason, they forego in-flight entertainment, including movies, as well as avoiding necessities such as food, water, and sleep, or any comforts on a long-haul flight. Okay, if the person next to you on a flight from New York to Singapore spends 19 hours just staring at the seat back in front of them, their carry-on is full of human feet.
A Florida man was arrested recently after he allegedly fell asleep behind the wheel with his car running in a Taco Bell drive-thru. He's being charged with 1 count of mistiming an edible.
I heard about a man who broke a world record by unicycling the length of Ireland in 5 days. 5 days on a unicycle. Asked how he felt. The guy said, "Not great."